Welcome into the PFF NFL Daily. Today, discussing all of the various injuries around the league. A lot of news here, Sam. And I hate this, man. It's only week 3. You just finished week 3 of the NFL, and we got to deal with all this injury news. But Mac Jones, high ankle sprain with the New England Patriots. Certainly going to miss some time there. Rashawn Slater, torn biceps. Certainly out for the season, I would think, right? And we have a pec tear for TJ Watt, but he's coming back, so it's tough to tell. But Rashawn Slater, the starting left tackle for the Chargers, a lot of big names, not going to be on the field for quite a while.
Yeah, the Mac Jones one, I think, seemed pretty obvious when he first got injured. I mean, I've rarely seen a player in that much agony, so even without broken bones, you would expect him to miss a little bit of time. That seems like the way that's going to go. But the real big one is the Chargers just losing players, multiple. Rashawn Slater at left tackle looks like he's going to be done for the year, as you said. Jalen Guyton, their wide receiver, torn ACL, looks like he's done for the year as well. Those are two pretty important players for them, in particular Slater, because, Storm Norton came in to replace him at left tackle, gave up like 7 pressures and like barely 3 times that number of snaps. I mean, he's a liability at tackle, let alone left tackle. So I would imagine the Chargers, if they expect to do anything this season, are going to be immediately scanning the available free agents. I mean, people like Eric Fisher are still out there on the open market. And look, Eric Fisher may not be the player that he once was before he got an injury, but God knows he's a better option than Storm Norton if you need to turn to him at left tackle.
What's with all the left tackle injuries right now, man? You've got I won't be able to list all of them off the top of my head, but I know the Ravens have been missing Ronnie Stanley. Patrick McCarry just gets hurt as his replacement. The Bucs are down to their third string left tackle. Tyron Smith's out for the Cowboys. Now Trent Williams out for the San Francisco 49ers, about 4 to 6 weeks for him. We saw Jimmy Garoppolo. He's a little iffy against the rush sometimes and peeking over his shoulder when you don't have Trent Williams. He was the best tackle in football last season and now. But left tackles falling left and right. Taylor Lewan's out for the season. Not great, Sam. Why is that one position getting ravaged? And why isn't Eric Fisher on a roster if he could still play?
I don't know. I mean, stick with the Ravens for a second. If Patrick McCarry is down, they're down to their 4th string left tackle this season. They want Ronnie Stanley as the starter. He's one of the best left tackles in the NFL. With no Stanley, it was Juwan James. Juwan James injures himself pretty much immediately. Patrick McCarry comes in. McCarry goes down. Now they're turning to Daniel Faalele, who was a project mid-round right tackle. Like they are really, I mean, you talk about how injuries get compounded when they hit one specific position over and over again. Baltimore's down to the absolute bare bones at left tackle. And as you said, they're not alone. Like left tackles are dropping like flies. I think Slater is a huge loss for the Chargers. I think Trent Williams for 4 to 6 weeks with his ankle sprain is a major loss for San Francisco as well.
Yeah, you were telling me this off air, right? It does feel like one position group or position groups are just getting, wrecked in general this year. The Bills secondary also having issues. Christian Benford, the starting rookie corner, 6th rounder, he's banged up. We already know that their safeties have issues. The Bills were playing with basically an entire, group of backup players in the secondary on Sunday against the Miami Dolphins, so they're dealing with that even more than ever. I just wanted to touch on I'm all over the place here today. It's okay, though. There's a lot going on. But the Chargers, man, that offensive line, one of the reasons Herbert continued to progress last year, 2nd most valuable quarterback in the NFL last season, was the work that they did on that offensive line, including drafting Rashawn Slater and then adding Matt Filer and adding Corey Linsley. And what they did, if that starts falling apart, you go back to Herbert's rookie season. He was very good, but he was under pressure at such a ridiculous rate. They had a bottom 5 pass blocking offensive line. That plus the other injuries compounding there in Los Angeles, not good for the Chargers, who are sitting here at 1-2. Plus, of course, Herbert's got his, busted cartilage.
Yeah, and it's been falling apart even without the injuries. I mean, Matt Filer hasn't been playing at the same level this season. Okay, a lot of it has come against very good players. Chris Jones went over to his side of the offensive line and gave him real problems. But if Matt Filer ends up playing at the sort of low end of his range of outcomes this season as opposed to one of the higher ends, that's a big blow. It's a big decrease in performance. Obviously, Slater, Trey Pipkins is the starting right tackle. That's a limited ceiling in how good that position is going to be. Zion Johnson is a rookie at right guard. He's been solid, but I don't know if he's been an upgrade yet over Ode Abushi from last year, and Corey Linsley's been missing. So that offensive line has really taken a beating in 3 weeks so far.
No House Advantage is changing the game by offering the most dynamic fantasy sports platform available today. Play in pick'em contests versus other people for the shot at winning $250,000 plus in cash. Download the app, choose a contest, select your player props, earn points for correct picks, and climb the leaderboard for your shot to win big money every day. You can also test your skills versus the house and 20 times your entry if you hit all your picks. Bet on up to 5 player prop over-unders or individual player matchups across every major sports league, including NFL, NBA, MLB, PGA, MMA, and NASCAR. Sign up now with promo code PFFDaily at nohouseadvantage.com or download the app on the App Store to get a first deposit match up to $25. It's PFF Daily. That's your promo code. Make sure to check out No House Advantage today and experience daily fantasy sports redefined, because it's not just how you play, but also where you play. All right, Sam, we got to talk about this Mac Jones situation with the Patriots. The Patriots are 1-2, and they're going to Green Bay. This is a new world for the New England Patriots. I know it's still this new world without Tom Brady over the last couple of years, but there was at least some hope. Hey, they drafted the next guy. Mac Jones was the best rookie last year, but they start 1-2, and now even going to Green Bay, they were in danger of falling to 1-3, even with Mac Jones under center. Now it's probably going to be Brian Hoyer, the backup. It could be your guy, Bailey Zappi, who they still have hanging around. What happens to the Patriots? Bill Belichick, Belichick's legacy, all the long-term stuff. There's a lot on the line here every time the Patriots play.
Still have hanging around? Like, they only just drafted him. It's a bit harsh to expect him to be gone already.
Well, just not a lot of teams keep 3 quarterbacks around. So,
I mean, true. Would it change your outlook of the Brian Hoyer-led New England Patriots offense if you knew Brian Hoyer's real name? You know what Brian Hoyer's real name is?
No.
Brian Hoyer's real name is Axel Edward Brian Hoyer. I'm just saying, I'd have more confidence in Axel Hoyer as a quarterback than I do in Brian.
Yeah, names matter, man. Just like Mitchell needs to go back to Mitch. Mitch Trubisky was a first-round pick. Mitchell has been a low-end starter his entire career. I mean, seriously. This is serious stuff. Axel Hoyer is something Belichick, that's a guy Belichick can work with over there in New England.
That's what I think too. Look, this is the time. Like, okay, you might be 36 years old, so you're leaving it a bit late, but now's your opportunity. Mac Jones is down for at least a couple of weeks with his high ankle sprain and tremendous pain. Bailey Zappi, that's not a name that inspires confidence. So Axel Hoyer, make the switch and go out there and dominate for a couple of weeks.
Unfortunate for Mac Jones and his development. Has not looked comfortable this year overall. Hasn't been great. But Sunday, a fascinating game. Had 5, 6 big-time throws, a bunch of turnover-worthy plays too, but Mac Jones was driving the ball down the field. I know the end result, no touchdowns, 3 picks. The stat line was terrible, but he was averaging about 10 yards per attempt as well. We started to see a bit of a high-octane Patriots offense. Haven't seen that in a few weeks, and now we don't get to see if they could build on that and see if Mac Jones could at least cut down on some of those mistakes.
Yeah, it's a shame for them because that felt like a game where Mac Jones kind of took it upon himself to get things done as opposed to relying on the offense and whatever it was going to produce, which so far has not been a lot without Josh McDaniels there. So it felt like a real game where Mac Jones did sort of step up and take some ownership over what was happening. And yeah, okay, as you said, the results weren't great in terms of bottom line and points, but he looked, and the offense looked better because of it. And we're going to be robbed of that for at least a few weeks. One more injury I think worth mentioning is DeAndre Swift. There's another running back with a shoulder injury like Dalvin Cook, and they might have to sit him down for a couple of weeks. That's one where I don't think it's a big deal as much as it's a bummer for, Swift fantasy owners and the like. That Detroit Lions offensive line is just creating huge holes. Jamal Williams looks good running behind that as well. I think the Lions are fine even without DeAndre Swift.
Yeah, Swift was one of those guys that had all the training camp buzz. They were using him in the pass game, and he was creating some big plays, and it carried into the regular season so far. But you're right. The Lions are doing a really good job of scheming it up, moving players around, big on big, getting, tackles playing tight end, using 3 tight ends, and creating, believe it or not, run game mismatches that the Lions are creating. They're doing a really good job there. We always talk about pass game mismatches, but the Lions are doing it in the run game, just winning box count and numbers and all that fun stuff. So I agree. They'll be able to deal without DeAndre Swift, but yeah, unfortunate for him and his development. So hate this time of year, Sam. Everybody starts getting hurt, and it is just no fun. We want to watch these players. So let us know. which injury is most significant as we head into week 4 of the NFL?